When you picture Venice, what comes to mind? Probably this impossible, beautiful city, right? A fairy tale built on water. But there's always another story that goes with that image, a story we all think we know.
We see pictures like this all the time. You've got this beautiful, ancient stone just being lapped away by the canals. And it feels like it just confirms that one simple story we always hear about Venice.
Yep, those three little words, Venice is sinking. It's such a powerful, dramatic headline, isn't it? It immediately paints this picture of a crisis, a whole city just being swallowed by the sea.
But what if that story, as simple and urgent as it feels, is actually part of the problem? What if by focusing on this idea of a drowning city, we're completely missing the real threat?
Well, according to the research we're diving into today, that exact phrase oversimplifies what's really happening. It turns a super complex challenge into a simple drama, which can actually stop real effective action right in its tracks. So, okay, if that simple story is wrong, then what is the real crisis? Well, it's not just about rising water. Turns out it's about a total breakdown in how we even try to solve the problem. The problem, it seems, is deeply human. You have all these brilliant experts trying to save the city, but they're all stuck in their own little bubbles. The scientists are studying salt corrosion, the art historians are focused on the architecture, and the sociologists are looking at the community. They're all publishing their own separate papers and competing for funding, but they're hardly ever in the same room having a unified conversation. So here's the million-dollar question. How do you get all these different experts, with their own languages and priorities, to actually work together? Well, the answer, as this research argues, has been right in front of us the entire time. Literally, holding the city up. What's the common ground here? Is there some common language that a chemist, an architect, and a local resident can all understand and actually discuss together? Believe it or not, the answer is the materials themselves. The very stones, the bricks, the wood, the mortar. That is the language that everyone can speak. This brings us to this really key concept called materiality. And it's not just about the physical stuff a city is made of. It's about understanding that these materials are everything all at once. They're scientific specimens being eaten away by salt, they're priceless cultural artifacts, and they are the very fabric of people's homes and daily lives. And this just illustrates the point perfectly. On the left, you see the absolutely breathtaking interior of St. Mark's Basilica, a treasure of art and faith and history. And on the right, you see that same sacred space swamped with corrosive salt water. The materials are both the source of its beauty and the site of its destruction. And this is a perfect example of how these materials become storytellers. I mean, the mosaics on the front of St. Mark's tell this incredible story. Back in 828 AD, Venetian merchants stole the body of St. Mark from Alexandria, and to smuggle it past the Muslim customs officers, they hid the relics under, get this, a layer of pork. The mosaics literally show the officers holding their noses. This isn't just glass and gold, it's a story of civic pride and cleverness that's baked right into the building's skin. So, focusing on materials like this, it builds a whole new framework for preservation. It's about starting a completely new kind of conversation, one built on collaboration, not on competition. When you put the materials at the center of the conversation, everything changes. Suddenly, a chemist who's analyzing salt crystals on a brick isn't in a separate universe from the historian who can tell you that specific brick was made in the 15th century by artisans from Lombardy. They're now looking at the exact same object, sharing what they know to solve the same problem. And let's be clear, this way of thinking goes way beyond Venice. This is a global challenge for our most precious heritage cities, especially those facing threats from the sea. Take Rhodes in Greece, for example. These incredible medieval sandstone walls are basically a physical record of the Knights of St. John. But the very sea salt spray that gives the air its character is slowly eating away at that stone, literally turning history into dust. Or look at Edinburgh Castle in Scotland. The city's entire identity is tied to the fact that it's built from the same stone it sits on. But now, climate change is causing groundwater to flood up from that very bedrock, threatening the foundations from below. And in old San Juan, Puerto Rico, these historic Spanish fortresses have stood for centuries. But now they're facing more and more powerful hurricanes, a direct threat from a changing climate that is just battering these irreplaceable stone walls. The thing is, for all of these unique places facing their own unique threats, The ultimate solution isn't just a bigger flood barrier or some new chemical treatment. The most powerful tool we have is a fundamental shift in approach, a shared conversation where everyone, from scientists to locals, is focused on the materials. And here's where it gets really interesting, where it affects all of us. This isn't just a job for academics. The research makes this powerful point that civil society, and yeah, that means residents, craftsmen, professionals, and even concerned global citizens like us, has the power to start this conversation and demand this new approach. Ultimately, this reframes the whole challenge, doesn't it? Saving our heritage isn't just about building walls against the water. It's about listening to the stories the materials themselves are telling us, stories of science and history and culture, and working together before those stories are lost